Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Camping World Stadium live from Orlando, Florida. We're here. It's the Florida Classic. This is SWACTV Game Time, and it is rivalry week in the SWAC. We hope you're ready for some great football action today and a lot of other things kind of going on. We'll talk about a few of those things as we get going. Of course, joining me, I've got Mr. Mike Washington, Dr. Kenyatta Cavill from inside the HBCU Sports Lab. From the ONG Strike Zone in the BCSN Sports Wrap, Mr. Brian Fulford. I am Roy Evans, and it is time, gentlemen. Listen, I lived in Orlando for 15 years. I'm a Florida guy, and this is what you call a Chamber of Commerce day in Central Florida. Doc, how's your visit been so far since you've been here?
Been here since early this morning. It's been a great environment. Already can tell all the festivities and see. I was commenting coming in to Mike saying, man, isn't the game at 3:30? He's like, yeah. And there was that much traffic, that many people were excited, starting tailgating early. So, yeah, it's a place to be seen. This is good.
And look, they were here yesterday. See, I keep telling y'all. Yeah. I
saw the RVs over there, too,
right.
So you're right.
Listen, the RVs have been here since Thursday.
I bet.
So, it's funny, and I tell folks, the SWAC has such tradition, such great stuff. BCU and FAMU joining just added to that tradition that made it something special. And listen, we've been around this thing for a minute, right, Brian?
Yeah, we're very familiar with it.
So what's your day been like? What you looking like for the weekend?
Look, I've had a busy week, but always Classic is on my mind. And I just love getting here and getting in the vicinity of the area, and you start to smell it. It smells like it's going to be a great crowd. The weather feels like it's going to be a great crowd. We just need the two teams to do what they do. I mean, I think we're going to have I'm predicting 60,000. That's my prediction. Okay. I'm sticking to it. And, I mean, it smells good. It feels good. It looks good. This is going to be a great Classic day here in Florida.
All right, Mike, what about you? Is this your first trip to Orlando for the Classic?
In a while. In a long time. And I was telling Dr. Cavill here, I was like, I rolled down the window just to smell the environment. And I made the comment, I said, it smells real good here. You smelled the barbecue, you smelled folks cooking, and really you just got to feel an early sense of how the environment was before you even get to the game. So it really left you with a sense of, euphoria. You're like, this is going to be a big day. So I look forward to it.
Listen, folks, if you've never had an opportunity to make your way down to Orlando, Florida, you need to do it for one of these Classic weekends. Have a lot of stuff going on down here. There is basically a 5-block radius around the stadium that is blocked off all the way to the next set of major streets in every direction. They talk about the 60,000 people that are in the stands, but I'm going to guarantee you that there's going to be about 300,000 people in this vicinity. Wow. That's what it is. The Chamber of Commerce says this game brings a $31 million economic impact.
Wow.
Don't tell us that we're not doing what we're doing. So, folks, if you haven't done so.
That's an excellent point when you talk about that. Yeah. With the SWAC now having all top of the classics, when you talk about State Fair Classic, Magic City Classic, Florida Classic, and you have the Bayou Classic, and you add in now that you got the HBCU Las Vegas Classic.
Yeah.
It's hard to stop that momentum.
Listen, the SWAC is for real. The fans are for real. We are all for real. If you haven't done so, make sure you let all your friends know. Go download SWACTV. Get the app. Make sure you're there to watch all of the games. We're going to be getting into all of that information and stuff here in a little bit. But go ahead and download it. It's on all platforms: Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, Google Play, and Android TV. SWACTV. Doing it like nobody else can do it. Stay tuned, guys. We're going to take a break. Come back. Do a recap of last week's game, talk a little bit about what's going on, and then kind of roll right on into the activities, players of the week, week 13, rivalry week. It's the getting down to the end of the season. There are reasons for different things, but we'll talk about all that in a little bit, guys. Keep your dials locked. Tell a friend. Pass it on. We'll be back right here with more SWACTV Game Time.
There's no I in team, but there is an M, an E, an A, and a T.
Since 2018, Cricket Wireless has been supporting the journey of HBCU students, because HBCUs aren't just schools. They're a place where teammates form lifelong bonds. The kind of bonds that stay with you every step of the way. That's why we keep you connected, so you can tackle anything that's thrown your way. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Brighter futures begin here with students and faculty that bring campus projects to life with help from the Home Depot Retool Your School grants. With these grants, HBCUs have built innovative learning lounges, revitalized rec areas, and created peaceful wellness spaces, providing students with areas to learn, relax, and thrive. Through their dedication to uplifting their campuses, HBCUs are growing stronger, one grant at a time, one project at a time, one community at a time. Learn more at retoolyourschool.com. Retool Your School. We're powered by purpose.
Gatorade has the #1 proven electrolyte blend, designed to hydrate better than water, made to rehydrate, replenish, and refuel, so you can lose more sweat and run the game. Gatorade, is it in you?
Big rivalries, big wins, and continuing legacies. Since 1920, the Southwestern Athletic Conference has been more than just a league. It's been a movement. From the roaring crowds to sold-out stadiums, year after year, SWAC leads the nation in FCS attendance. And now, the wait is over. Welcome to SWACTV, your free all-access pass to the soul of the conference. Every rivalry, every win, every championship moment, captured, streamed, and celebrated. Stream SWACTV, available on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, Google Play, and Android TV. SWACTV, where history is made and moments live forever.
There's no I in team, but there is an M, an E, an A, and a T.
All right, everyone. Hello and welcome back to SWACTV Game Time. This is Roy Evans. And what we're going to do now, guys, is go over what happened last week, kind of set the table for an exciting ending, last official week of the season. We know we've got another game next week that'll be picking up, and then the SWAC championship, of course. But this is the last full week of games in the SWAC. And last week was an appetizer for setting up this main course of a meal this weekend. Let's start with some of the games. The first one we're going to jump into from our Week 12 totals. Jackson State put it 28-13 win on these Wildcats. A lot of folks were thinking that the Wildcats were going to come in there, try to stretch some things, get some things going. Had been scoring 35 points a game in the regular season. Jackson State, they were doing some stuff, but their defense stood up, handled what they needed to. And what did you see about that game, Mike?
Well, I thought Bethune. Let's start with it. Played a phenomenal game, and if you look up into probably the third, fourth quarter, they were very competitive. I think at the end, Bethune actually had a puncher's chance, and I want to say it was and I wanted to check my stats, but when I say a well played game, 4-5 penalties total that whole game by both teams. So it was a very efficient game. Both teams went in. You thought Bethune, being one of the top offenses, had a chance in that game. But credit to Jackson State, even with the injury to Jacoby Morgan, they've found a way to find their groove and to keep churning. So and play all 4 complete quarters. So that I think you saw, Jackson State saying we are still the team. I think you saw Bethune saying we're good on the offense, but the defense tended to wane a little bit.
Well, listen, I think one of the good things about that is that they were, if I'm not mistaken, they were able to hold Jackson State under their season average.
Yes.
So the defense wasn't bad, but that machine up there in Jackson, Mississippi,
yes,
and T.C. Taylor driving it is doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. Doc, what are your thoughts on that game?
I thought the -1 turnovers was the difference. They got the big one at the end that evened things out. Then obviously the pick six by Washington to take it back was essentially the difference in the game, with us potentially having a overtime in that matchup. But when you think about the running backs, 3 running backs over 100 yards for Jackson State, It's also another telling sign that they were able to get it done. That's Terrell Jr., Davenport, and Miller, each eclipsed 100 yards. How many times do you see 3 players in the game eclipse 100 yards? You know, especially when you get 2. You get one guy that gets 200-some yards himself, but the 3 have over 300 yards rushing with 3 individuals is big time, and something to keep your eyes on Jackson State as they move forward for the matchup today.
Well, listen, those Tigers are not playing around. They know exactly what they're going to do, and that is we're going to push the ball down your throat and make sure that you choke on it as we continue to do everything else that we were doing. Brian, what are your thoughts on that game?
Just even hearing those stats and thinking about Bethune actually being in a position to win the game tells a lot about where Coach Raymond Woody has moved this program. I mean, because this program had been down the last couple seasons, and they got blown out. I mean, we'll call it. But they still scored points against Alabama State, but got blown out. And so to show against, 1A, 1B, if Jackson State is 1A, Alabama State's 1B, however, wherever you are, however you want to call it. I don't want to get into that controversy. But to be able to be within as you said, a puncher's chance of having a shot at winning that game says a lot. It's the one little thing that makes me a little nervous about this game that's going to take place behind us today, because my Rilers didn't do too well against those 2 teams. But it says the growth of where Bethune Cookman. So that's another reason why I think it's going to be a great crowd here today, because Bethune Cookman Wildcats are back in the hunt, and we'll see. It's a great step forward. But hey, Jackson State put themselves in a great spot now. The magic number is 1. The magic number is 1. All they got to do is take care of business today. Woo, tough challenge. We'll talk about that later, though.
But Bethune Cookman back in the football business.
Back in the football business,
they
exactly.
are doing it. We are expecting a raucous crowd that's going to be here today. So the Wildcats are doing what they need to do. And now we're going to keep going with some of those games. And the next one we're going to talk about, Prairie View A&M. We'll kind of go through this one. There's not really much to get into. 56-9 over UAPB. The Panthers did what they did. They wrapped up the West. They're ready, sitting back, kind of scoreboard watching. Because, to clarify something that you said, Jackson State people will tell you there's no 1A and 1B because they beat the other team. But
the standings say otherwise.
We're going to get into that. We're going to get into that here in a little bit. But the Panthers did what they needed to do. We're kind of go through that.
Congratulations to the Panthers winning the West. Exactly.
What was that statement last week? That same statement. You got 1. The magic number is 1. That's what you said.
I did, and they got it done. They got it done. Congratulations.
I think that's the big thing that come out of that game is the fact that they needed to win. They made sure that it wasn't close, scoring in each of the quarters, 21 in the second quarter and 21 again in the fourth quarter, with getting a touchdown each in the first and third. And they pretty much dominated that game. Check that box off in terms of what they want to do down there for step of 1 of 3 steps process of what they want to get done this season.
I would also add that it's the way in which they got it on 640 yards of total offense. If you look at the first half of the season, they're 7 yards per rush, but only 8-9 yards per pass. They've almost doubled that. Meaning they've opened up the playbook a little bit more as the season has gone. That team has matured and grown. So that Prairie View that you played in week 2 or 3 is different than the Prairie View that you're going to play in week 9 or 10. So
there you go. And listen, of course, full disclosure on this program, of course, these gentlemen are Prairie View alumni, so they are very high and excited about what's happening in the season.
Southern alumni.
Texas Southern as well.
Texas Southern as well. They on both sides, but they get to go.
Yeah.
Next up, we're going to talk about the Grambling State Tigers losing 16-27 to the Alcorn Braves. The Alcorn Braves have righted the ship, rattling off the season with, I think they're at 4 wins in a row at this point. Of course, we're going to talk about that game later. We're not even going to get it. Don't even mention the game coming up today, nobody. We're going to get into that later.
Not yet.
But the Grambling State Tigers, this is not the season that they wanted, but Alcorn, again, right in the ship looking for things to get going. Brian, what were your thoughts on that one?
Well, this Alcorn State team is now playing like the team that many people thought they would be in the beginning of the year. So, I mean, hey, credit to those young men. Credit to Coach Thomas and for getting those guys back and winning cures all. I mean, because folks had Alcorn State on the ledge about 5-6 weeks ago.
You talking about week 1 and 2?
Week 2, exactly. We had him on the
His
ledge.
ledge.
Right, so they have
Our colleague, Dr. Charles Bishop.
They have climbed themselves back up and are standing upright, chest up, back straight, and I mean, credit to them. Now, and I will say this. It's still a good season for Grambling State. I mean, let's not poo-poo it. I mean, you know, who knows the real impact of the missing players. I mean, they had 18 players that weren't available for that game. And they still 27-16. I mean, that's less than a 10-point difference there. Or am I doing the math? Is that 10 or 11? I don't know. It's still early Saturday morning. But still a good season, and they got a chance. Boy, I tell you, coming up down the road, they got a chance to really put a hurting on a rival. So it's still a great season for Grambling.
Yeah, I was going to jump in to say that as well when you talked about Grambling. Obviously, for their fan base, a lot of it is about championship. But if you really look where they were last year and you come back to this year with a chance to get to 8 wins, including a win over your rival, that's a pretty solid season. And then you double down and talk about that they're playing with the third and fourth quarterback. But particularly in that matchup, it was amazing because Alcorn was really playing solid football and it looked like they had control of that game, 14-3 at half. And then inevitably, somehow, that Grambling State defense makes a play. And they get the sacks, they get the turnovers, and they score oftentimes on the turnovers defensively. And that's what put them back in the game. And next thing you know, they had the lead. Alcorn had to come back late and score to take the lead. And you're like looking at Grambling with all these different quarterbacks, and you're amazed. You're just like, how do they continue to figure out how to win? So I think a lot of credit goes to Grambling in terms of what they were able to do. Obviously, Alcorn State with the big late score to kind of pull the game away. But if you watched that game, you knew how close it was, that it went back and forth. So I want to give credit to both of these teams. Alcorn in terms of the win streak, Grambling for the win streak they had going into this match, and on the depth chart, finding a way to make this game very competitive.
Well, listen, losing 18 players and being ready and still, as you say, keeping it in to that kind of a schedule, or not schedule, but a point differential, it made a big difference. That talks and speaks to what Grambling is building down there.
Yep.
Coming up next, let's get into that other school that you guys talked about. Texas Southern went down to the Bluff. We're not very nice hosts. I believe this is, unfortunately for Southern, first season since the 40s or 50s where they have gone winless at home. This does not happen. Jaguar Nation, we know, is not happy. Things are changing. There will be changes. Things are looking different. But Texas Southern chugging along, doing what they were doing. They were able to eke out that win. Mike, what about that game for you?
Well, if you watch that game, it was a tale of two halves. You watch the first half and you think, okay, Southern's going to go out at least one win at home. They're going to see their seniors. I think it was 16 or 17 seniors. They're going to have their last game. They're at least going to go out on a win. No, not so fast. All of a sudden, Texas Southern's offense woke up in the second half, and the game went completely 180. So you ask what happened. Was it efficiency? Was it whatever? And if you look at it, I mean, that game was also an efficient game. There were only 3 penalties in that game. That was a very, very competitive game. It's just credit Texas Southern for being able to come back in the second half and to kind of right the wrong that they have. They gave up almost 250 yards the first half, and then they reduced that statistically by 2/3 on the second half. I think their defense and key plays, key mess-ups by Southern, blunders. And they also, I want to give kudos to, there's a running back for Southern. I want to, Lawrence Butler. Oh, my gosh. And KJ Cooper. Credit them with Texas Southern for stepping up big in the second half. So,
all right.
Yeah, when you talk about that was a huge win for Texas Southern University in terms of building momentum, especially after losing 2 straight after they were tied in first place.
Yes.
And so all the momentum that you built, putting the pressure on Prairie View to finish out, and then all of a sudden you hit a snag, and a surprise loss at home to them, at least going in the game, was Alcorn, obviously, right? Then you have the tough game on the road. You get a chance to maybe get a bounce back, shock the world against Alabama State. You were in that game. A couple of special team blunders didn't allow you to keep the pressure on and maybe get out of there with a win. So you've lost 2 straight. You got to bounce back, because if you get that victory, you're at 500. You come back home and you get a chance to have a winning season. So that game to me was huge, and it's always close between Southern and Texas Southern, no matter where they play. When they were playing in Classics, playing in Houston, playing back in Baton Rouge, over the last decade, those games, no matter who the coaches were or whatever, it's weird. It's been close games, and this is another indication. Mike hit it off the nail. Special teams got it done for Texas Southern this week when they got the turnover off a kickoff, and so which allowed them to take the lead back after scoring. So big shout out to Texas Southern University. Southern obviously is just continuing a very frustrated year, and they have one last chance to get a conference win. We'll see what that looks like in a couple of weeks.
Oddest on-site turnover ever. Oddest on-site kick turnover. A direct BB line drive, not the little things that you see on a normal onside kick. Yep. It was a straight line drive shot to a Southern player who was not expecting it, hit the player in the neck, came off, bounced right back to the Texas Southern player.
Yeah,
I've never seen an onside.
I always wonder why kickers don't do that more.
Exactly.
Don't try to squib kick it. Kick it right at a guy and then let him try to figure out, can I catch this? Whoa, I wasn't expecting that.
I had to bring that point out. Sorry about that.
Listen, that's good. The coaches will do at these different times of the year. They will do whatever it takes to get that little extra edge to push them over the top. And look what it did for Texas Southern. Coming up next, those Alabama State Hornets we talked about made a trip down to Mississippi Valley down there in Itabena and came in very rude guests and very rude people coming in there with a 41-3 win and a just shellacking of the Mississippi Valley State Delta Devils. Brian, what are your thoughts about what happened there?
I don't have much thoughts about that. I mean, it was. I don't even think it was in Valley. I think that game was a neutral site.
Neutral site.
Yeah. So, hey, congratulations, to Alabama State, and that's it. Good game. Moving on. Nothing to say.
Good game. But
two things I will say about Alabama State is the fact that they were able to rush for 233 yards with the backup quarterback, which is very important. Smoot was solid, 14 of 22, 190 yards, one touchdown. Did have the interception. But if you want to keep the pressure on Jackson State, you had to find a way to get a win. They won big, and to do that with the backup quarterback to go in this last weekend to see what things shake out, I thought it was big for Alabama State to be able to do that. Obviously, Valley continues to struggle, similar to Southern. They're looking for their first win of the season, and that's going to be tough. They do have two chances at it, unlike Southern. So it'll be interesting to see what that looks like.
And that is because, of course, we've talked about it. The Mississippi Valley State against Florida A&M will be held next weekend. So we'll get an opportunity to see that. Our last game that we have to look at is the Bulldogs, that played these Rattlers that are here. 26-23, the Rattlers were able to squeeze out a victory. Brian, you were there. Talk to us about that game.
Well said. Able to squeeze out a victory because they had to fight. They had to fight off a dog who was barking, and he was barking loud. I mean, that was a good win for Florida A&M. A good win for Florida A&M. They had to find a way to win. I mean, look, for the Rattlers, it was an opportunity to get to 500, and so that's huge given the early part. I mean, you look at how tough it was early in the season. This team 1-4, 1-3 to begin the season. Not the expectation that many people in Tallahassee or among Rattler Nation had. But of late, this team has kind of found themselves. This was probably the one time that some of the units, the special team unit that had kind of been carrying Florida A&M wasn't particularly great in this contest, and that, I think, helped keep Alabama A&M around. But what they did get is they got an outstanding performance from the offense, and especially quarterback R.J. Johnson III, who went on to win not only SWAC player honors, but national HBCU honors as well. So a good win, good effort by Alabama A&M. But, they're on their third-string quarterback, and the running game was effective in this contest. But at the end of the day, the Bulldogs, they're looking forward to next season.
All right. Yeah. Doc?
Yeah, I think that was appropriate, the way that you broke that down, Brian. It was a very competitive game, which is always intriguing, and it forces you to watch a game that you may not just have all your interest in because of where teams are in the standings. But Alabama A&M continues to fight. I think that's the thing that you want to think about the Bulldogs. When you're playing your third-string quarterback, and we're starting to see that refrain across the conference in terms of second, third, some of them even 14 quarterbacks, and it's not because they weren't effective. It's because they got injured. Well, to push through that and have a coach that at least has you playing into games, I think is important in a statement for the Bulldogs with their first-year coach.
Well, listen, Coach Sam Shade is there. He's trying to build something special, and is looking.
I think
to
he
do
will.
that.
I think he just needs a little bit of time. Obviously, they were going to lean on their offense this year, but when your quarterback goes down, Q4, it looks like he's trying to see if he can come back next year. We'll see what that looks like. But that's the challenge, and you see that in the game. But again, I think the big thing is the fact they fought through. FAMU had to eke it out, which says a lot about the Bulldogs.
Well, listen, I'm going to go. I was about to get into another point, but I got to make sure, does Mike have any specific data points?
Yes.
If he wants to get in this, let's get the data points.
Well, data point one is that Alabama A&M actually outgained Florida A&M in this game. They had 460, 470 total yards. Efficiency is where FAMU actually outplayed. That small data point, efficiency, their offensive efficiency, which is the amount of games per play, is where they outran. But if you look at the totality of the game, Alabama A&M actually outgained them by almost nearly 100 yards.
Listen, and those data points make a difference. Those things are very important. Doc talked about a lot of the things that we're having and seeing in the conference with teams down to their second, third string QBs. I will say one thing. What that says, there's some good quarterback play in the SWAC.
That's right.
I think people need to realize that. And you young fellas out there looking for places to go to play quarterback, find you a SWAC school. You might have an opportunity to step out there and get it going. Folks, stay tuned. We're going to come back. That was the recap of Week 12, setting the table, the appetizer setting the table for today's main course. We're going to come back, go through the standings, and then we're going to get into the games for today. That big meal that we were talking about. And, hey, guys, I got something special for you at the end. We're going to do a new segment where we're going to come in and do some trivia. For the games.
My goodness.
And, it's going to be Florida Classic trivia.
Now you got me nervous.
Now you guys got to be ready.
You got me real nervous.
We'll be back with SWACTV Game Time right after this.
Brighter futures begin here with students and faculty that bring campus projects to life with help from the Home Depot Retool Your School grants. With these grants, HBCUs have built innovative learning lounges, revitalized rec areas, and created peaceful wellness spaces, providing students with areas to learn, relax, and thrive. Through their dedication to uplifting their campuses, HBCUs are growing stronger, one grant at a time, one project at a time, one community at a time. Learn more at retoolyourschool.com. Retool Your School. We're powered by purpose.
Since 2018, Cricket Wireless has been supporting the journey of HBCU students because HBCUs aren't just schools. They're a place where teammates form lifelong bonds, the kind of bonds that stay with you every step of the way. That's why we keep you connected, so you can tackle anything that's thrown your way. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Gatorade has the #1 proven electrolyte blend, designed to hydrate better than water, made to rehydrate, replenish, and refuel, so you can lose more sweat and run the game. Gatorade, is it in you?
Big rivalries, big wins, and continuing legacies. Since 1920, the Southwestern Athletic Conference has been more than just a league. It's been a movement. From the roaring crowds to sold-out stadiums, year after year, SWAC leads the nation in FCS attendance. And now, the wait is over. Welcome to SWACTV, your free all-access pass to the soul of the conference. Every rivalry, every win, every championship moment, captured, streamed, and celebrated. Stream SWACTV, available on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, Google Play, and Android TV. SWACTV, where history is made and moments live forever.
There's no I in team, but there is an M, an E, an A, and a T.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to SWACTV Game Time. Let's go ahead and jump right into the standings and where we are with the teams and what's going on. Starting off with the SWAC West. As we talked about, it's wrapped up. It's signed, sealed, and delivered. The Prairie View Panthers will be on their way to the SWAC Championship. They are hoping to get an opportunity to host. Or no, at this point, they can't host unless both teams lose.
Yeah, they need a lot to go in their
need
favor. You just ended it by saying that Alabama State and Jackson State have to both lose.
Okay. So that's the only way that Prairie View gets to host. But, Coach, we'll see you and the team somewhere, and looking forward to it. After that, of course, we've got Grambling State coming in. Texas Southern 4-3 in the conference as well. Alcorn State fighting their way back up from the bottom to 4-3.
Big.
Then we've got University of Arkansas Pine Bluff at 2-5, and of course, as we mentioned before, the Southern Jaguars going 0-7 in conference.
What was the historical number the last time that Southern went winless in the SWAC? Because obviously it was 1949 that they hadn't won a home game. That's a long time, by the way.
Yeah.
But I think I had heard something in the 40s, 1940, that the last time that they went winless in the SWAC. Unbelievable.
That would be in like their first couple of years in the SWAC, around the time they joined. They one of the first public schools after Langston to join the conference when you think about it. So, yeah, a lot of history there, about a decade in, I guess, in the SWAC. And the SWAC was tough then. You had a lot of private schools that were getting it done.
Okay. All right, and next we're going to go over to our East standings. As we look at it, and at the top, Tide battling it out, 6-1 in the conference, 8-2 overall. Both Jackson State, Alabama State, of course, in our head-to-head. Jackson State did win that game this year, so they've got a slight edge in what's going on. Under them, the Rattlers have clawed their way back up, 4-2, but they play the folks right up under them today, and the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats, 4-3 in the conference. Alabama A&M 1-6, and at the bottom of the standings right now, Mississippi Valley State. This is where everybody expected there to be a battle, there to be parity in the conference, in the division, and a lot of things going on. It just didn't work out the way people were thinking, other than the top two teams. Everybody expected both of those teams to be in place. Guys, what is your outlook of what we saw in this season for the East?
I think in a lot of ways the East kind of played out to what people thought. Jackson State
overall
there, Alabama State right in the mix. FAMU now has crept back in there. I think it was a little surprise previous weeks with Bethune-Cookman being tied for first, but now they've kind of come back to earth, if you would, in terms of where they are. But they get a chance to make a closing statement, so it'll be interesting to see closing out things next week where they stand. But I think everything kind of went to scale. Obviously exciting football games, and this thing will go down to the wire in terms to see can Jackson State close it out.
Hey, listen, they're going to definitely have to do it. And like I said, we're going to get into some of those games later because rivalry week is going to be something serious because the rivals that are there all have an opportunity to stop their rival from doing something
big
or something important, even if it's just to that team.
That's true.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to get ready to just kind of go over and talk to you a little bit about the players of the week in the SWAC for this past week. And let's see if we can
Players of the Week.
Nice.
Nice.
And we'll be back right after this with more SWACTV Game Time.
Big rivalries, big wins, and continuing legacies. Since 1920, the Southwestern Athletic Conference has been more than just a league. It's been a movement. From the roaring crowds to sold-out stadiums, year after year, SWAC leads the nation in FCS attendance. And now, the wait is over. Welcome to SWACTV, your free all-access pass to the soul of the conference. Every rivalry, every win, every championship moment, captured, streamed, and celebrated. Stream SWACTV, available on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, Google Play, and Android TV. SWACTV, where history is made and moments live forever.
Gatorade has the #1 proven electrolyte blend, designed to hydrate better than water, made to rehydrate, replenish, and refuel, so you can lose more sweat and run the game. Gatorade, is it in you?
Brighter futures begin here with students and faculty that bring campus projects to life with help from the Home Depot Retool Your School grants. With these grants, HBCUs have built innovative learning lounges, revitalized rec areas, and created peaceful wellness spaces, providing students with areas to learn, relax, and thrive. Through their dedication to uplifting their campuses, HBCUs are growing stronger, one grant at a time, one project at a time, one community at a time. Learn more at retoolyourschool.com. Retool Your School. We're powered by purpose.
Since 2018, Cricket Wireless has been supporting the journey of HBCU students because HBCUs aren't just schools. They're a place where teammates form lifelong bonds, the kind of bonds that stay with you every step of the way. That's why we keep you connected, so you can tackle anything that's thrown your way. Smile, you're on Cricket.
There's no I in team, but there is an M, an E, an A, and a T.
All right, everybody, hello and welcome back to the SWACTV Game Time Show. We are live from the Camping World Stadium here. Off camera, we were just talking about this beautiful day. The weather that if you're high enough in Orlando, you can see all the way to the coast of Florida right now. It's great. Again, if you haven't been to the Florida Classic, make your way. It is one of those great traditions that the SWAC has, and we're looking forward to adding more years into that. But, guys, let's go ahead and jump right into the games for today. This is that main course that I was talking about and the things that we've got going on as folks are starting to load up and you hear the music in the background. First game that we've got is the Golden Lions of the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff make their way to Alabama State in the Hornets. What are we seeing for that one? We'll start with you, Doc.
Christian Peters, can he play a game? You know, he got hurt, and so now you're talking about another backup. And so that's the challenge you have. How will the backup play? Obviously against Prairie View, that was a really part of the game that hurt them in terms of what they get done. That means you're going to have to depend on Jalen Jennings, your running back. Can he get good? Can your offensive line? And you can see in that game at times that the coach was sending a message. Even though the game kind of got out of hand, he still wanted them to understand the importance of running the ball. He said that in his conferences as well. And so I expect in this game that he's going to lean and he's going to see, can that offensive line and the running back find a way to get it done and make a statement. I think Alabama State will be fine. They're going to continue to do what they do, is run the ball. And it's an uphill battle for the Golden Lions, but that's what I expect them to try to get done in this game.
All right, Mike?
Yep, you're talking about two sides of the coin. You're talking about Alabama State. They're still the #1 team in the offense, 40 points per game. You're talking about Pine Bluff. They're scoring half that. So can their offense on the other side of the ball? And you look at defense. Alabama State is still number 3, allowing only 22 points per game. They're number 2 or 3 against the rush. So, you wonder, can Alabama A&M up their game, up their rush? Can Tayshawn Smoot make it, 3 in a row? He's at 2-0. He's come in and done a phenomenal job. Can he continue to steer this offense? I think they should have a problem. Offensive efficiency, they're number 2 or 3 that seems to go back and forth in the SWAC. So you look for the Hornets to kind of roll in this one and increase their efficiency without Body leading the helm, but Tayshawn Smoot leading the offense.
A lot of folks are looking at that, talking about how they're going to go, just seeing what they've got. Of course, they have another game, the Turkey Day Classic, which we will be there. So we'll take a look at that. But right now, this is it for the Golden Lions. It's the end of their season. So seeing what they're going to be able to get into. Coming up next, we've got the Delta Devils making their way out there to Prairie View. There's been a lot of talk of whether or not Prairie View should be playing their players and what should happen as they're getting ready for the SWAC championship because they know they're in it. Brian, what are your thoughts on this game?
That's interesting. Excuse me. Does Prairie View take an opportunity to get your backups in the game and get them some meaningful reps? I think there's a little pride that Prairie View should have. If you don't want. Look, I'm gonna tell you now. Don't be the team that gives up Valley's first win. I've experienced that. It's not pretty. So Prairie View, don't let it happen to you. No offense, Valley, but I mean that's just what you're facing. So they're going to play a good game. I know they'll get the backups in, some meaningful reps, because you need those guys to get opportunities just in case you need them.
Doc?
Yeah, I think that was the thought process this week, and I thought it was a legitimate question for people to ask. I don't think it was a real question if you know Coach Jackson. The team is playing so well offensively. He wants to continue that. Now, he'd love to be in a position, in the mid part of the third quarter where he can rationally put in the backups and feel the game is under control. But I think that's where you are. They want to get to that 9 wins. That hasn't been done at Prairie View since 2009 when they won a championship. So that's important to them. It's senior day, if you would, so you want to make sure they go out in style. So I think there's more reasons to play hard, play deep, to get it done. Valley's going to fight. One of the things that Mike often would say is Valley, but Valley has taught us hard lessons. They took a championship opportunity away for Prairie View a couple of years ago. When they were in position, all they had to do was win in Valley. Well, obviously this game is not in Valley, but those are the kind of things that I think stick with players that were around. Different coaches, but still sticks with the players, and they're like, nah, we're good. Let's play this out.
Yeah.
Mike?
Yep. Basically ditto what he said. I mean, if you know Coach Jackson and if you heard him speak, he wants to go through this game and work on efficiency. He wants to get rotations in, and there's a balance. And I think, going into this game, what's sticking in the back of many of mine is that game a couple of years ago when Prairie View had a chance to make it to the championship, and they went down to Mississippi. That slipped. I'm sorry, folks. It slipped and lost. And I think that stands out in a lot of folks' minds. I think they'll want to go out strong. Dr. Cavill mentioned that it is senior night, and you'll have representation from many in the Panther Nation. So I think there's a balance that, go second, maybe first half, maybe third quarter. You'll pull some of your starters out and let others get in the rotation, relax. But I don't think they'll go into this game thinking that we don't want to make sure that we are strong on efficiency, that we're opening up the playbook, and that we'll make sure that we're in tune going into Jackson and preparing for going into Jackson.
All right.
He got the top 3 things. Then he broke it down. 1, 2, 3.
And listen, that's what your data point guy does, isn't it? Coming up next, we've got the Bulldogs, Alabama A&M, making their way to Houston to visit the Tigers of Texas Southern. And this is 2 teams, kind of at this point, middle of the road, finishing out the season. Of course, everybody wants to finish with a W. Everybody wants to get in and see what they've got going and kind of see what the future holds based on, some of that going on. Mike, what about you? What do you think about this game?
So what if you're TSU, what do? You had a strong finish last week. Do you finish? Do you want? If you're a coach, what do you want to finish this strong? If you've heard him speak, yes, he wants to finish this very strong. I'll leave it at that. That's enough said. Oh, by the way, Texas Southern has a very proficient offense. They're playing well. They're number 4 or 5 in the SWAC in offensive output. So they will play well. I think they'll strive to finish the season. I think that's their motivating point. Can we finish this season strong?
Senior day,
Yeah.
again. Those things mean something for a lot of teams. And this senior class has a chance to go out with a winning record. I think that is extremely important for Texas Southern Tigers as they like to push and think what they can do next year. In the back part of their mind, there's probably a small part saying, hey, we let 2 get away somehow when they were in a position to do that. And you go back to the first game of the year, remember, Prairie View scores literally on the last play of the game with no time left to win that game and see how it propels them. In their mind, they're thinking we should be right there. So they want to finish strong. KJ Cooper should play very well in this game, and I imagine they're going to be able to run the ball to get it done against Alabama A&M Bulldogs.
Yeah.
All right, well, listen, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and take our last break. Then we're going to come back and talk about the last 2 games. This is the meat, and then this is also going to be the starch for the meal. This is the deep stuff.
Meat and potatoes.
Meat and potatoes
Got to
of the
put a
meal.
little seasoning on that now.
Then we're going to get ready for it. Folks, stay tuned. We'll be back with more SWAC TV Game Time right here.
There's no I in team, but there is an M, an E, an A, and a T.
Since 2018, Cricket Wireless has been supporting the journey of HBCU students because HBCUs aren't just schools. They're a place where teammates form lifelong bonds, the kind of bonds that stay with you every step of the way. That's why we keep you connected, so you can tackle anything that's thrown your way. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Brighter futures begin here with students and faculty that bring campus projects to life with help from the Home Depot Retool Your School grants. With these grants, HBCUs have built innovative learning lounges, revitalized rec areas, and created peaceful wellness spaces, providing students with areas to learn, relax, and thrive. Through their dedication to uplifting their campuses, HBCUs are growing stronger, one grant at a time, one project at a time, one community at a time. Learn more at retoolyourschool.com. Retool Your School. We're powered by purpose.
Big rivalries, big wins, and continuing legacies. Since 1920, the Southwestern Athletic Conference has been more than just a league. It's been a movement. From the roaring crowds to sold-out stadiums, year after year, SWAC leads the nation in FCS attendance. And now, the wait is over. Welcome to SWACTV, your free all-access.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to SWAC TV Game Time. Let's get right into it. We're here again, as we've said it numerous times, beautiful Orlando, Florida. It's the Wildcats of Bethune-Cookman University coming a call into the Rattlers of Florida A&M. 2 teams, like I said, right in the middle of the Eastern Division this year, so there's not much implication on this game other than pride, but baby, believe me, pride is more than enough for this one. Mike, Doc, what are your thoughts on this game? Let's start with you, Mike.
Well, I think you started out really well by saying pride. You're dealing with 2 teams that, have gone into each other for a long time. Don't even want to get into that. I think Florida A&M has had the lion's share of the last few matchups. Won't get into the number. What I will get into is which team can rush the ball better. We talk about offensive output. They're both, number 1 and 2, believe it or not, and strictly passing in the SWAC. But when it comes to rushing the ball, they both have struggled. They're both at 9 and 10 in the SWAC. And their defensive output as well has struggled at times. No one has ever said that Bethune couldn't play offense because they're number 3 or 4 in the SWAC in offense. Their offensive output has been tremendous this year. Their defense has really let them down. So you wonder, can their defense step up this year? And Vegas, unfortunately, has Bethune as a slight edge, believe it or not. And if I had to pick one, if I'm a betting man, you got to give the slight edge just due to scoring and output, 30-something points a game, to Bethune and FAMU's inabilities on the defensive side.
I'm just excited about this game. First time here in this crowd. I've had a chance to watch this game many times and just was excited because it doesn't matter how the teams come in, which program is dominating. The other program finds a way to pull their best game out of the year. So I expect that to happen today with both teams in a lot of ways being close in terms of the record and what they're chasing. So I'm fascinated to see who get a chance to put themselves in a position to have the winning record. Obviously, Bethune-Cookman wins, they will have that. If FAMU wins, they have the next matchup, which would get them there. So interesting about that. Quarterback play is going to be big for me today. Obviously, the defensive front is also the thing I'm looking at.
All right. Well, Brian, let's get into it. You've been around this game for a very long time. You've been following these Rattlers all season long. What is it that you see is going to happen, or what needs to happen for both FAMU and Bethune to get a win?
It's going to come down to the big plays. Honestly, the big play has been, that's what Bethune-Cookman wants to hit you with a big play. We've seen them hit big plays against Alabama State. We've seen them hit big plays against Jackson State. So there's not a team over the last 8 games that they have not hit with a big play. The question is, and FAMU's defense has been susceptible to big plays. So expect that, first off. Secondly, for Florida A&M, I think Florida A&M wants to give them a steady diet. They want to keep punching Bethune-Cookman with the run game and then hit you with the passes. Florida A&M's efficiency on offense, or their lack of turnovers, is going to be huge because it keeps you in the games. Now, even though FAMU's defense had forced a lot of turnovers, Bethune will give you the ball sometimes. They have shown statistically they'll give up a few, whether it be fumbles or some interceptions, which is something that Florida A&M has not done this year. So I think FAMU has to keep the turnovers down, as they've done all season. And then special teams. Whose special teams is going to be big? Florida A&M special teams was not very good last week, which was rare given this season. Bethune-Cookman special teams, as we saw last week in Jackson, they can be special. So watch that special teams play and see who comes out. This will be a fascinating game. Last year the final score was 41-38. I expect a similar outcome today, high scoring, both teams plus 32, 33 points. It's going to come down to the fourth quarter. I got a feeling.
All right.
Fourth quarter.
All right, folks.
I'd love to see that.
There we go, prediction.
I don't want to see it, but that's what's going to happen. I'm just telling you now.
Well, let's do this, guys. We're going to get into the last game. This is actually the only game today that really has any impact on anything in the SWAC as it states for standings. They called this one.
Or at least the team controls it.
Well, it controls it, but it has an impact. That's what I'm saying.
They control it. You still, Alabama State still is hoping that somehow Alcorn gets it done.
Well, no, that's my point. Yeah, Jackson State. This is the Soul Bowl. I think they called it something else before now.
Capital City Classic.
Capital City Classic. They're doing it. The Braves are coming a calling. They can't really do anything but get another win for the season. But guess what But what they can do to Jackson probably has more impact to them than even getting the winning, getting another win. Brian, what do you think?
Okay.
So Jackson State, look, I'm gonna be very careful here. Jackson State won this game last year. Alcorn State won it 2 years ago. Alcorn State is coming in on a hot streak. Might be the hottest team in the SWAC right now. This is the bad time for Jackson State to face the hottest team in the SWAC. There's a lot of belief in Jackson, right? Rightfully so. But Alcorn They're playing really well. And I just got a feeling. I got a feeling that something crazy is going to happen in this game. So, I mean, look, the thing that would shock me the most here, guys, is if Jackson State rolls Alcorn. Not that they're not capable of rolling Alcorn State, but it would surprise me if they do. And look, obviously that's your goal. You're going to play every game. You're trying to click and hit on all cylinders. And if Jackson State hits on all cylinders, Prairie View better watch out, because that is a great sign for Jackson State getting ready as they'll win the East and go to the SWAC championship and host it. That's what would surprise me. I expect another close game. I'm not going to make any predictions because I don't want that hate on my social media accounts.
Yes.
But I think it'll be a great game and a close game. Good luck to whoever has the ball or doesn't have the ball last.
All right. Mike, what about you? What are your thoughts on this one?
I think it'll be competitive, and I look for something. I, like Brian, look for something out of the ordinary or strange to happen in this game. And you wonder, can Jared Lockhart, the quarterback, can he continue to right this ship? I saw social media, is Jacoby Morgan coming back? Can he come back this game and lead? Probably not. So you want Jackson State to finish this game with some efficiency. You want them to finish strong. But I agree, they are playing the hottest team on both sides of the ball coming into this game. Offensively and defensively. Remember, we just agreed that Alcorn State is that team we thought they would be. So I think if Jackson State rolls, I think they go into the championship with a little bit more efficiency. Right. A little bit more,
momentum.
Yeah,
we'll use momentum. Big
momentum. So,
you talking about trivia? They have a chance, Jackson State, if they get this done today, to win a championship 4 out of 5 years. Obviously, they got to do the championship game, which is different from when they won it 85, 86, 87, 88. To talk something about that trivia. The question was out there when Texas Southern last time. They had a winning season. It goes back to 2000. There's a little caveat there. They won the championship in 2010, but the wins from 2006 to 2010 were vacated by the NCAA violation. So a little trivia there. As you talked about earlier, put some trivia out there. I wanted to put some.
There you go. Yep. Well, listen, folks, that's it. That did it. Any last words about any of the games?
Go out and watch some SWAC football.
Yes,
whether
go
it's
watch
on
some football.
SWACTV or live at the stadium like we are today.
That's right. Get out and get it on there. Make sure you tune in to SWACTV. Watch the games. Not just football. We're going to make sure you got the semifinals of the volleyball thing coming in. Just want to give a quick shout out because the Lady Rattlers
basketball games will be on SWACTV. Over 100 games.
Wow.
57 for the women and like 55 for the men. Incredible. Crazy. I will be tuned in.
The road to Atlanta gets started. Getting on to that. Again, the volleyball semifinals are on today. The Lady Rattlers, who are hosting, beat both the number 1 and the number 2 seeds in Prairie View and Jackson State.
Yes.
We're gonna, hey, get it going.
Our house.
Folks.
Where'd that come from? Where'd that come from? Where'd that come from?
They came from the airport. Came straight from the airport.
You guys have a great day. Enjoy all of the SWAC football, SWAC basketball, and SWAC volleyball that you can take. It's all on SWACTV. Get it in, have a ball. We're going to enjoy some of the festivities out here. Take care, and until next time, be good, everybody.
Yep.
Kevin Rosier told me.